Hi, how you doing? This is Jose David, marriage counselor, and today we'll be talking about the book 90-Day Guide to Save Your Marriage, Chapter 7, which is our last chapter. So this involves week 11 and week 12. And what this is about is taking care of your needs. So in this chapter, we go through getting you on the path to communicating with your partner or spouse what your needs are, and to look at your areas of need and tell them honestly what is lacking and what you guys need to work on. So, best way to know your partner's needs is to ask them, and this will be a good exercise for you because a lot of times we think we know what they want and what they need out of us, out of our relationship with them, but a lot of times we don't. We have no idea what they really need. So what I would suggest is, if they can write it down, that'll be great for you to know. This will only help you make the relationship between you and your spouse or partner better. And also, if you do this for yourself, you'll know realistically what you can expect of your partner or spouse. And so you need to be as specific as possible and as honest as possible. If you need to give out examples so things are clear, that's also a good way to start. This would just illustrate where and what areas you need to work on and your spouse needs to work on. And, we all have different needs and we all expect these needs to be fulfilled in different manners. So really take some time to look at your personality and what you know about yourself and what you know is lacking, what needs are not being met in the relationship, and why is it becoming so difficult in your marriage to have these needs fulfilled. And there might be a lot of outside factors that come into play, so be realistic about what you can expect and what you cannot. There's no right or wrong answer in this aspect about what your needs are. But it's something that you need to be able to communicate with your spouse or partner. Hopefully the workbook, if you've been doing it, it will give you a good foundation to be able to assess your needs, evaluate what you need, and go from there in regards to seeing how those needs can be fulfilled. Obviously, the more communication you have with your spouse or partner, the better, and you'll be on the same page with him or her. Hopefully this book has helped you. We wanted to do something simple, something that's easy to follow, but something that's meaningful and at the same time powerful, giving you strategies and skills that couples need to become a better unit. So hopefully you're following these principles. Here are some of the areas we didn't talk about that might be like outside factors that can come into play into a relationship and that could affect how the outcome of your marriage is. Number one is financial problems. A lot of people have financial problems. They their added stress in a relationship. They make things harder. So you might want to revisit that if you need to get a financial advisor. If you guys are having money problems, it's always a good way to start. That way it's not your spouse against you or vice versa. It's somebody that knows their trade and knows how to get you to a better financial position. That can be very helpful. Problems that are related to being married, which are, maybe there's some deeper issues that we don't cover in this book, such as infidelity, to mention one. But this book is not to be confused with actual counseling or couples therapy. So if you feel like you just started building back your marriage, you might need some more help, and counseling is always a great tool to invest in so you can be able to move forward with some things that might be bothering you. The use of substances, addictions, and other compulsive behaviors. A lot of people have outside factors like this that kind of are out of their control and are affecting their marriage. And so this need, this kinds of situations need treatment, and so seeking treatment for this kind of behaviors is part of the process if you want to save your marriage. Mental health problems, also some people deal with depression, PTSD, and that can be very taxing, and it can be very detrimental to a marriage because it's just the wife or spouse becomes a caretaker, and so that can come with its own array of issues. So if you or your spouse or partner have some mental health issues that need to be addressed, they need to get treatment, and you need to be supportive of this treatment. The other one we briefly mentioned at the beginning of this book was domestic violence and violence. Being aggressive in a loving relationship, what would people define an intimate relationship, is never okay, and it's a problem if it has happened. You need some extra help in the form of therapy, in the form of marriage counseling, in the form of a lot of learning different new skills to be able to overcome this problem. If you are a victim of domestic violence and you feel like you're trapped, that you have no recourse, you have no exit, and you have options. You always have options. There's always choices to be made. You can always seek out some of the resources we listed here in the book, any hotlines for domestic abuse and violence that can help you make some decisions and get some resources and get some help that you might be needing at this time. And the most important thing is, if you have children and you're in a domestic violence relationship, no matter what things you're telling to yourself, to say that it's okay to stay in the relationship and that the kids are going to be fine even though there's domestic violence, you're lying to yourself. And you need to make sure your kids are not in harm's way, that they're safe, and even though you might be the victim, they're also suffering emotional scars that are very troubling and that could make them become victims in the future or perpetrators of domestic violence. So it's a very serious issue. So get more help if you feel like you need it. More than likely you might need it. There's probably some great resources in your community. Look for counselors, therapists in your community. There's always somebody that could help you out there. And there's some national resources that are listed in the book that you can always access. And they're just kind of stepping stones into getting treatment or care or support outside for yourself. So thank you for allowing us the opportunity to try to help you save your marriage, and hopefully this book was helpful to you and your spouse or partner. Thank you.